Good evening,
Good
Dhamma
evening,
friends.
Bhante.
Good evening. We are going to get started our class, online reading class. Let's pay respect to the Buddha at the beginning. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Today we are going to learn about another aspect of the Balas, unwise people. And as you can see, today's stanza is going to be stanza number 64. And our day today is day 86. Okay, let's take a look at the stanza at this point. Yava jivam piche balu panditang pairupasati netso dhammang vijanati dapi suparasamyata. Yava jivam piche balu panditang pairupasati neso dhammang vijanati dapi suparasamyata. Okay, so we'll be asking groups to read. First, we're asking group 1. Anyone from group 1, please. Yes, Mary, please.
So Kyoto Bhante.
Mhm.
Yava Jivampi Che Balo.
Yava
Yava Jivampi Che Balo. Paditang Payi Rupa Sati. Na so damang vijanati. Dabi supa rasang yata.
Okay, great.
Thank you, Bhante.
And group 2. Yes, Kim, please go ahead.
Yava jivampi cha balo. Panditang ya payi rupasati. Na so damang vijan nati. Dabi suparasang yata.
Okay, great.
Thank
And
you.
group 3. Yes, Lisa, please go ahead.
Thank you, Bhante. Yava vijampi cha balo. Paditam payi rupasati. Naso damam vijanati. Dabi suparasam yata.
Okay, great.
Thank you, Bhante.
Group 4. Yes, wait. Let's go ahead.
Good evening, Bhante.
Good evening.
Yava jivampi che balo panditang pairupasati na so damang vijanati dabi su parasam wata.
Yata.
Ayata. Thank you.
Yata. Okay, great. And group 5. Someone from group 5. If not, group 6. Yes, TC, please go ahead.
Thank you. Yawa jivampi cha balo. Panditang payi rupasati. Neso damang vijanati. Dabi suparasam yatta.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
And group 7. Group 7. Yeah, Stacy, please.
Yeah.
Oh, who would like?
Yawa. Okay, never mind.
Yeah.
Yawa jivampi ce balo. Panditang payurupa sati. Naso damang vijanati. Dabi suparasang yatta.
Okay, great. And group 8. Someone from group 8. Yes, Doris, please go ahead.
Thank you, Bhante. Yava jivampi ce balo, panditam payirupa sati. Naso damam vijanati, dapi suparasam yata.
Okay, great.
Thank
Now
you.
we'll be
Bhante.
asking others to read. First, Aliana, then Champakla, and the rest of the others. Yes, Aliana, please go ahead.
Yawa jivampi ce balo, panditang payirupa sati. Naso damam vijanati, dabi suparasam yatha.
Okay, great. Champakla, please.
Good evening, Bhante.
Yes, good evening.
Yava jivampi che balo, panditam payirupasati. Naso damam vijanati, dabi suparasam yata.
Okay, great.
Thank you, Bhante.
And Seri.
Suki hotu Bhante.
Okay.
Yawa jivampi che balo. Panditang payarupa sati. Naso damang vijanati. Dapi suparasang yata.
Okay, great.
Thank you, Bhante.
Pochuwa.
Good evening, Bhante.
Yes,
Thank
good
you.
evening.
Yawa jivampi chabalo, patitam payirupa sati. Natso damang vijanati, dabi suparasam yata.
Okay, great.
Thank you,
And
Bhante.
yes, Nayan Chen, please. Yes.
Good evening, Bhante.
Good evening.
Yava jivampi ce balo, panditang payirupasati. Na so damang vijanati, dapi suparasang yata.
Yeah, great.
Thank you.
And Pauline, please.
Tukio tu Bhante.
Sukio.
Yawa jivampi ce balo. Panditang payirupa sati. Naso damang vijanati. Dabi suparasang yata.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
And Jenny, please.
Good evening, Bhante.
Good evening.
Yawa jivampi ce balo, panditang payirupa sati. Na so damang vijanati, dampi suparasang yata.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
Yes. And Ching. Yeah, next, Ching, please.
Good evening, Bhante.
Good evening.
Yava jivampi je balo. Panditang payirupa sati. Na so damang vijanati. Dabi suparasam yata.
Okay, great. And Corina.
Good evening, Bhante.
Yes, good evening.
Yawa jiwapi ce balo. Paditam payirupasati. Naso damam vijananti. Dabi suparasam yata.
Naso Dhamma Vijanati.
Naso damam Vijananti.
Vijanati.
Vijanati. Okay.
Yeah.
Naso Dhammam Vijananti.
Vijanati. Yes.
Vijanati.
Because this is, I tell you the difference. Vijanati is singular. When you say Vijananti, it becomes plural. Then there should be many, many unwise people. Now here, one person. So, na so Dhamman Vijanati.
Oh, Vijanati single. Vijananti
Yeah,
is
single. Yes, one person. It can be a female or a male.
okay. So Vijananti will be plural.
Vijananti. When we see Vijananti, we understand that then this should be this is known by many people. The subject should have been the plural.
Okay.
Either we, they, yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Last, yes, Chupen, please.
Good evening, Bhante.
Yes, good evening.
Yawa Jiwampi Balo, Panditang Payu Pasate, Na So Naman Vijanati, Dabi Suparasang Yata.
Na so Dhamman Vijanati.
Na So Daman Vijanati.
Vijanati, Dabi Suparasang. Okay, great.
Thank you, Bhante.
Yes. Anyone else who would like to read? Okay, if not, we're going to get into the meaning, explanations, context, and the story, and what we can learn from here. Now, most of you, I think all of you know that as we enter into the Dhammapada's Balavarga, unwise people, I mean, we can be unwise anytime, not that we are always wise. That's why we have to understand that we have to monitor, we have to watch what's happening with regard to our speech, our thoughts, our actions, right? So not that we 45, 50 of people coming here on Thursdays and trying to punish all the balas in the world. It's not like that, because this bala nature can come to us anytime if we are not careful about our actions, our thoughts, our speech. So we have a huge amount of compassion towards those people who are trying to get out of those bala nature if they want to. Also, the people who don't know that they are balas, they think they are okay. And those of them who understand, who are still good, but anytime out of a small distraction, they can become bala. So that's why we look at bala nature, unwise nature, by including us in this understanding, right? So compassion, understanding, and then reflection, being careful, being mindfulness at the end, right? Awareness. All these are supportive for us to understand what's happening to us, what's happening to other people, right? Primarily about us. Now, this stanza says something very interesting, but you don't have to misunderstand this. Now, remember, how can I say that? In the Mangala Sutta, the Buddha always asks us to associate the wise people. But say, for instance, there is someone who is unwise, who is, always influenced by his or her family problems, maybe work problems, some other problems going through. The person wants to associate good people, wise people. But now you might think about that, what if that kind of an association is going to work out for that kind of an unwise person? So that means it is not bad for an unwise person to associate a wise person, right? That is what we have to understand. That means we always, regardless of we being unwise or wise, we need to look for the company of wise people. But there may be circumstances where unwise people will not be able to get out of their unwise nature. Now, this stanza tells us that what you call primary understanding that everybody should keep in touch with and associate, look for the what you call company of wise people might not work for some individuals for their own problems, maybe for some other circumstances. So this is one very interesting aspect why some unwise people, although they are closely working with wise people, have not been able to get out of their ignorant, unwise nature. But our usual normal understanding is we all have to keep in touch with wise people. We have to maintain all that. So, Yava Jivam Piche Balu Panditang Pairu Pasati. Now, this is why I'm saying, even if an unwise person for his or her entire life associate with a wise person, she doesn't understand the Dhamma. Right? Theory-wise, this is not going to be true, because unwise people will understand some amount of Dhamma might be changed. But there are situations where an unwise person will not be able to be changed. So that particular phenomenon is what we learn from this stanza, right? Otherwise, there might be an understanding that unwise people will never be able to get out of their unwise nature. That is not true, because we have to believe in anicca. Everyone can be changed. There is a transformation. That transformation is what we are looking for. But there are certain people, although they are surrounded with the Buddha, monks, temples, all these good things, but they are not going to make any progress in that level. Maybe a small number of, it depends on the place and people. So I just wanted to tell you the background, otherwise it might be misunderstood. Okay. Otherwise you might think that no unwise person can ever get out of this problem, right? Okay, having said that, let's go and take a look at these Pali words. Yava. What does Yava mean? We don't look at a lot of Pali terms, but these are some of the interesting ones. Yava means until, right? As long as, until. And there is another Pali word, Tava, right? Yava Tava. It's not given here, Tava, until that time. Because the problem here is that Buddha does not recognize Tava for a wise person here, unwise person. Because regardless of how long is a wise person associating a unwise person associating a wise person, if unwise person cannot get out of that unwise problem, then Buddha didn't want to use Tava here, because there is no time that he or she will make it to that level. Yava, as long as, Jivampi, life until lifetime, Badu again. Panditam, Panditam here means Sattpurisa, wise person. Pairupasati, this word has to be understood. Pairupasati. Pairupasati means associates. But there are many other English Pali words for association. Sevati. Then Pairupasati. Actually, Pairupasati comes from Pari, Upa. There are two prefixes in Pali, Pari and Upa. If you learn some of the Majjhima Nikaya suttas, maybe one day we will get to that level. Still we are doing Dhammapada and understanding life. There is a sutta called Chunky Sutta. Chunky Sutta. Chunky Sutta is a sutta where Buddha talks about how does someone get into the Dhamma. You have to check out whether you were following those, stages actually. There Buddha talks about the first thing that someone does is what you call, he's going to listen or she's going to listen to Dhamma, right? Even this Savaka. What do you call the Pali word Savaka? Savaka. Who are the Savakas? Savaka.
Listeners, Bhante. Listeners,
Savakas are the disciples, right?
disciple, yeah.
Disciples of the Buddha. Savaka. Savaka means this one. Savaka. I added double E's to lend it. Savaka. Buddha's Savaka, Buddha's disciples. So this Pali word comes from Savana. Savana means listening. Because at that time, there were no video visuals. Rather than going to a place and then listen to the Dhamma. So here, Payurupasati means the activity that is happening while someone is listening to the Dhamma. That means sitting closely to the Dhamma speaker, in this case the Buddha, or maybe a wise person, and then listen to the Dhamma. Payurupasati. Or in our normal understanding, Payurupasati means associate someone very closely for some time. Payurupasati. Now we have a lot of examples which we can do later. Payurupasati. That means there was a question posed by King Kosala in one of the suttas, and then King Kosala was trying to understand that to judge someone that this person is very good by looking from outside, and the Buddha said, no, do not judge anybody just by looking at someone from outside. See, that person is talking very softly. That person is walking very calmly. That person meditates a lot, must be a good person. But the Buddha said, no, don't rush to decide people like that. What did he say? Sangvasena ko bhikkave silang vedita. If you want to know someone's discipline, ethics, you have to know that person for long time. Because even the bad people show that they are good people, right? That's happening everywhere, right? They can, what do you call that word that you are using? They can do a drama very easily, right? Drama people, right? And they can show I'm a very good person. I talk very soft words. I don't gossip. And I don't do anything wrong. They are talking a lot. They are saying to other people they are not doing. You don't have to tell other people not to do that. Just engage in that activity in your life, right? So this is what, yes, pretension. This is what we understand. This with regard to the sila. That means sila, never judge someone's behavior just by looking at that person from outside. You need to take some time. Right? Sangvasena ko bhikkave silang veditappa. And then how to know someone's wisdom? Right? You don't call anybody, you are a wise person. The Buddha told us how to find out someone is wise. Sakachaya ko bhikkave panya veditappa. If you want to say someone is wise, engage in a holistic discussion, then you know, oh, this is very clear to me. Right? So the wise people should be able to properly discuss good things. Right? So Payurupasati means that a close association. Right? So now think about, there's a bala, unwise person. By nature, maybe by culture, by a certain activity, bala is going to be in the company of a wise person for 20, 30, 40 years, maybe more than that. Right? Think about that kind of a scenario. This is what we understand as Pyrupas. Now here, there is an unwise person, and this unwise person is closely associating a wise person for that person's entire life, right? Long time. But there is a problem. Dabbi super rasang yata, just like yata, dabbi Suparasam. What is dabbi here? Dabbi means
Spoon.
spoon,
Bhante.
right?
Yeah.
Dabbi. Dabbi means spoon. Suparasam. Rasam means
Taste.
taste. And super.
Soup.
Soup.
Huh? Super means soup. Super doesn't mean soup.
Taste of
Oh,
soup.
trying to pinpoint the words, catch the words, similar words.
Spoon. Spoon.
Super means
Spoon.
no, dabbi means spoon. Super.
Soup.
Super means now
Very.
dishes, different dishes, right? There are different dishes on a table. So super here means that different viands. So maybe perhaps I would say different dishes on a table, right? And nowadays there are many spoons for many dishes. You don't want to stir it, right? We don't want to put one spoon for one dish with another dish, right? I'm very careful with regard to taste. So yeah, different varieties and different dishes. So now, say for instance, there is a spoon on a table of many food, and that spoon will never be able to experience the taste of those different dishes, right? Because it's only the tongue that can understand that can feel the taste of the food. Now think about the bala is related to the made similar to the spoon, and then the tasty dishes food, they are related to the company of the wise people, right? So just like how spoon cannot understand, cannot feel the taste of those different dishes, in the same way, unwise person, although spoon is always in the dish, maybe on the table, but never be able to get that experience in the same way, unwise person will never be able to. I'm not saying every unwise person, some unwise, because we have to use that, otherwise some people might get it wrongly. Some unwise people will never be able to experience the wisdom, even a certain influence from the wise people. Now think about sometimes when there were a lot of unwise people during the Buddha's time, when they had a short visit to the Buddha, when they got to know the Buddha for a short time, they were able to understand life, their problems. So this idea is not going to relate to them. This idea is very related to certain individuals, like monk Devadatta, right? Monk Devadatta is one of the examples. Monk Devadatta stayed in the same temple, and then things really went into a different hand at during the time. Monk Chanda. Now in this case, Monk Uday. The story is Venerable Uday's story actually. So this is what we understand. And then Naso Dhammang Vijanati. Now I have a question for you. Dhamma has to be Vijanati. Right? Now here I think the translation has to be Vijanati means knowing. Naso Dhammang Vijanati. That means that kind of an unwise person is not able to know the Dhamma. Right? But what is our discussion? What is your discussion during a Dhamma talk, after Dhamma talk? Did you understand what he taught? And this is something that comes to you. Did you understand what the speaker talk in the talk? Not understand. Did you know it? Yes, you might catch it, learn it. Hear it first, memorize it, and then try to understand and then know it. And then finally, finally internalize that thing, and then you are making the transformation. Have you ever got to that level? Or you heard the Dhamma from this ear and then it went from this ear to somewhere. I don't know where it went. What happened? Knowledge is going here and there, from this ear to that ear, from this ear to that ear. It's always going here and there. And you were very, you can say you had a Dhamma hit, instant Dharma hit. And then after some time, that Dharma hit is not here. Only when you learn another Dhamma talk, yeah, I remember this one now. What is it? It's about tanha, craving. It's such a very big topic at that point. Right? Why is it? The problem is exactly what we are talking today. How to learn Dhamma in the proper way. That is also something related to today's topic. So in order for us to practice Dhamma, what should you do in the first place? You have to listen to it properly. Did the Buddha use a word for that? Yes. Sunat. Sutta. S-U-T-A-O. Sunat. First, you need to listen to it. How can you listen? Like you are cooking and listen to Dhamma talk, because you are not properly giving that attention to the Dhamma talk. Right? You think that you can multitask, cooking and listen to Dhamma talk. Because when you fully devote to that Dhamma thing only, then it will really go to your ears. You can clearly listen to that. This is why you will understand if you listen to a Dhamma talk that was given in 2022 and now 2025. When you hear it again, you understand it differently. Why is it? Of course, you can say time. I have become a mature person now, spiritually mature, emotionally mature, right? But it is not even those reasons, but also the way you memorize that. This memorization is very important. It's like school children, Dhamma school children go to Dhamma school. Every Sunday, they are taking precepts. The monks are giving precepts. Panatipata Veramani, Sikkhapadang Samadhiya. Adinadana Veramani, Sikkhapadang Samadhiya. Kamisumichachara Veramani, Sikkhapadang Samadhiya. Yes, I mean, it's better that they go to Dhamma school, listen something, rather than staying at home and playing the games and doing other things. But the idea here is that, are they able to cognize what they are listening, what they are taking in the Dhamma school? A lot of Dhamma school children never had any good idea about these 5 precepts until it really affected our life as an adult at a certain point. So that's why it's very important to listen first, listen properly, right? Normally, we can do a lot of things at the same time. Yes, we all are busy in our own ways, but that shouldn't be the excuse to miss out on that important teaching. That means when you listen to a Dhamma talk, you need to give your all ears to the listening. Because if you do not hear it properly, you are not able to materialize properly as well, right? That's the moment you are trying to ask, did you understand that too? How come you understand that? Because it's the way how I materialize in my own way, right? So listening, proper listening is very important. What are the things that are helpful for us to listen? We have to get ready for this. And we need some other things like wise attention, yoniso manasikara, and all that. Okay, let's say you listen to the talk properly, Dhamma talk, Dhamma discussion. Then what should happen? Memorization. Do we have to memorize Dhamma things? Do we have to memorize, like, is it for an exam? It depends. But the most important elements must be memorized. Otherwise, we will not be able to practice them in time. In time, you will understand at a different time, but you will not be able to do it in time and on time. So memorization is very important for the certain important Dhamma matters. What are the very important things that we have to keep in mind all the time? As Buddha's followers, we have to engage in 4 Brahma Viharas. This is a must. This is where you are going to create your Dhammapada, maintain Metta, Karuna, Mudita, Upekkha. It's not that today is Thursday, I do Metta, and Friday I do Karuna, and weekend I can do Mudita, Upekkha. It's not that way. You are trying to make any activity an opportunity to practice Metta, Karuna, Mudita, Upekkha. You are not looking for Metta. Any act that you can create for Metta is that Metta practice. Right? So that is number 1. And then with regard to our daily activities, what are we supposed to do? You are supposed to practice a certain mindfulness. This is what you are practicing in retreats, right? That important mindfulness. What kind of mindfulness? Does it mean that we have to sit down for 3-4 hours every day and then I'm a very good person? If you want to do, you can do it. What should happen? Compared to your last many years, when you make a decision, you take some time, you are patient to make that decision. You take some time to think about before you talk to other people. You take some time, I mean, not that 2-3 hours. I mean, few years back, you were very reactive. You are fast angry. You are getting angry very fast. You are getting happy also very fast. You are getting sad also very fast. But now, you give some time with some patience. What is this? What is happening to me? So give some extra buffer, kind of a spiritual buffer, emotional buffer to understand these states. Right? This is mindfulness. Think about if you made a decision with some patience, you were mindful in that decision. Talking to somebody, acting on certain activities, some thoughts, right? So we should have that awareness. That awareness or mindfulness will never happen without patience. Why do I highlight patience? Is patience more important than awareness, mindfulness? Yes. Why? No mindfulness, no good thoughts will come if we don't have patience. The Buddha said in many places, Kanti, patience is the root kusala, root. If I don't have patience, how do I do other good activities? Dana, sila, bhavana, cannot do anything. And only when you practice patience, and then you, on top of that, you are engaging in other activities, people will comment on you. I have noticed something, a difference in you compared to your last many years. It seems that you have been changed. Why? You can ask, why do you say so? I feel that you are a little patient. You are more patient than before. Right? How did you get that patience? Because you understand patience is the root kusala. It's very important. So when you have the kanti, you are able to practice any other good things in your life. All these good activities, even your, what do you call, guarding your senses, mindfulness, dana, Brahma Viharas, anything is going to be possible. But the Buddha said, your patience has to be monitored properly. Right? It's not that you are saying, see, you've been nagging and complaining to me last 1 hour. Now in another 1 hour, I'm going to be very mad at you. Right? It's not that you are creating a boundary for people. I can become and do something for me. I become very angry in 2 hours. That's going to be a spiritual failure. Right? You are not trying to test on others' different activities, nagging, complaining. Rather than that, you handle every situation, everyone nicely, very patient. Have you seen such people in your life? There are people who can nicely handle any difficult person. We want to be one of them. How can they do it? Are they changing them? I don't think so. They are not going to change them. They listen to them. They engage in a nice conversation. They are nice, what do you call? They know the conflict management. This is a very big topic in the modern world. Peace management, conflict management, right? But if you learn Buddhism in a way, this is good, this is bad. If you do a bad thing, you go to the hell. That kind of Buddhist understanding is not going to work anymore because sometimes there are good people and there are good and bad together. 60% good, 40% bad. So how do we understand these people? That's why we should not look at anything like good and bad also like a binary, like a black and white. Now, black is bad, white is good. I think you are black now because you are doing bad things. I'm white. This kind of understanding is not going to work in our Buddhist understanding. We have to understand there are different people. So for us, in our Dhamma journey, we need to listen and then we have to memorize the most important things, such as Brahma Viharas, right? Kanti and all these. So we have to memorize means those memorization stuff should come to us whenever we need. Now you might think about what if somebody has a dementia, Alzheimer, cognitive dysfunctional problem. That's a problem. Yes. We are not working with this understanding. So it's very important to have a good memorization about certain important dhamma. Then, is memorization enough for us? No. Then the most important part coming up. What is it?
Practice.
Before practice, understand. We have to understand, right? Now we listen to the thing, right things, and then we memorize. But it takes time to understand. Right? It's like somebody passed away all of a sudden. Can we understand in 1 or 2 days? We know death is inevitable. Is it possible for us to understand? You might talk about anicca, dukkha, anatta. You know, Buddha talks about death is inevitable. Buddha also died. But if that happened to one of your close beloved ones, can you take it? No, you can't take that. Why is it? Because emotional attachment is too high. It takes time. But not in 1 week, 3 weeks, 4 weeks. After a couple months, you get to understand certain things in a certain, right? That means understanding activity is the third one. It might take time, but it has to happen. Now, when you understand, then what can happen? Things can internalize within you. Your life, your mental states, your behavior, especially your speech, your words that you are using for other people, right? Internalization. So when you are able to internalize all that, at a certain point, you will see a transformation. That transformation is what we say that we are going to be the best of our own version in the secular Buddhist understanding. And you can also say anatta one day. Right? Okay, so this is what we understand with regard to Pairupasati over here. Vijanati. Vijanati means that knowing. That means now in the story, as we can see, Uday Theravatu. Let's go and take a look. Now, what is the story about Venerable Uday? Venerable Uday was a monk, and he underestimated other monks who can give the Dhamma talk, who can explain, especially those very fundamental topics like 5 aggregates, 12 sense bases, and 18 elements. Right? These were given in the Madhupindika Sutta and also Dhatu Vibhanga Sutta in the Majjhima Nikaya. So he thought like, I mean, anybody could do these kind of Dhamma talks about 5 aggregates, 12 base, internal and external sense bases, and then 18 elements. So one day, what happened? He was closely watching some very senior monks. They were giving some Dhamma talks about these things, and people were asking questions. No, other monks actually. Other monks were asking questions from those senior monks, and they were very wonderfully answering those questions. So when they left the place, he sat down on one of those seats, right? This is what we can see here. I think let's take a look at the photo over here. I think you can see it, right? You can see the photo, right? Okay, so one day what happened? He was closely watching those those monks who were giving answers to those other monks' questions. So he sat down. He should be this. And then during this time, some other monks thought, okay, he must be a very knowledgeable, very wise monk, because the way how he sat down, and then nobody, no such a monk is going to sit on this seat. So we can learn those questions with regard to Panchakanda, 5 aggregates, and 12 ayatanas, what we call 12 sense bases, and 18 dhatus, elements. So they started asking questions from him. So he was not able to answer any of those questions, and then he just kept silence, and then he did not even answer anything. So what happened? The monks, they were reporting to Buddha. There was a monk. We thought he was very proficient in Dhamma and all that, but he couldn't answer. And then the Buddha said, this Venerable Uday wanted to impersonate a very good scholarly, wise monk. That's why he wanted to sit down there and then show that he can. But when there were actual questions coming up, he couldn't answer. So Venerable Uday has been here for a long time, but he never learned. He never learned how to answer these questions. But he wanted to. He wanted to show he knows, but he cannot. I mean, let's take this to secular normal life. Have you seen such people in your life? There are people who are not qualified enough, but they want to show that they are qualified enough. Have you seen such people? Have you met? Not lately, yeah? Maybe in the long past. There are such people, right? They wanted to not to show off, but they wanted to show that they also know it, but they are not able to do it. So the Buddha said, one thing is that it's not nice to sit down on this seat when other monks are trying to ask questions that you cannot answer. On the other hand, he himself has a problem, right? So this story is very interesting in many ways. One thing is that pretending, and we can say pretension. What are the consequences of pretending something? Even before that, let's talk about certain examples like Venerable Channa's story. I think we discussed that. Venerable Channa became a monk under the Buddha, but he never wanted to practice because he wanted to obtain something from the Buddha, saying the support that he did to the Buddha, right? So that means even he stayed with the Buddha for long, he did not want to learn anything out of it. Right? And what about Venerable Devadatta? The same thing happened, right? He never wanted. He just listened. He just did some meditation. He got jhanas. He was able to get some jhanas, some absorptions. And then what happened? He was very proud about his jhanas, and he thought he would do certain things by doing jhanas. And then he was misled by his own jhanas. That's why Buddhism always encourages that one should never end up in jhanas. Jhanas are compulsory in your meditation, can be compulsory, but never end up with jhanas, because jhanas are not the purpose of meditation. The purpose of meditation is to go beyond, transcend beyond the jhanas, and then to understand, get into the wisdom. Because what happened when Venerable Devadatta got into jhanas, he thought he can just levitate, he can do certain things, and he went to where he went. He went to King Ajasatta's place, and he managed to trick him, and he was scared. How come you create certain things like magics? And then he said, I have a plan. You kill your father and you help me to kill the Buddha. So we will get to our plans, right? And this is what happened. It's very ironical in the Buddhist history. The first convocation, Dharma Sangayana, which happened after 3 months of the Buddha's passing away, was spearheaded by King Ajasatha, who was a person who killed his own father, right? And the second convocation, what do you call, the second convocation which happened after almost 100 years of the Buddha's passing away, was also supported by a king who killed his own father, Kalashoka. The problem is that things happen, such support, sponsorship happened from certain kings continuously who killed their own fathers. This was changed when it went to Mauryan kingdom. That means King Ashoka's time. Dharmashoka was not like that. So anyways, Venerable Devadatta never wanted to learn. And what about a good example? Venerable Ananda. That's a very good example, right? What happened to him? Why was he not able to uh, get to any, he was a Sotapanna, of course. Why he was not able to get to the Nibbana? He was always with the Buddha. Wherever he goes, he tried to go and he's listening to, because one of the things that he asked from the Buddha when he made Venerable Ananda to be his minister monk, attending monk, may the Buddha teach me all the Dhamma you give elsewhere when I'm not with you. So that means the Buddha said, okay. Venerable Ananda had a huge repository of knowledge from the Buddha, but it did not help him to attain Nibbana. But then we understand there's someone who came to see the Buddha just for 5-6 minutes and just listen to the Dhamma talk and attain Nibbana. Why is this? That means knowledge and internalization has a difference. They are two different things. That's why. We can make an excuse. What is the excuse? No. That person did the homework in the last life. So that's why, you didn't do the homework now, still doing the homework. You may take another couple days to do homework. It's not a homework problem. We can relate to karma that way very easily. It's something about the personal character. It's a character problem. You can also say characteristic problem, temperament problem. Venerable Ananda's character was not that fast to internalize what he was hearing from the Buddha, right? And actually one day, Venerable Uday kind of mocked Venerable Ananda. He's saying his problem to him. You are always with the Buddha, but you haven't attained Nibbana. And then the Buddha said, no, he will attain the Nibbana at the right time. So now, this is a very good thing. Even the Buddha was questioned by other monks. Why your attending monk is not attaining Nibbana? You are making supportive for many other people to attain Nibbana. Don't worry, he will attain Nibbana at the right time. What does it mean? These conditions arise to different people at different times. So don't try to pressurize yourself, I have to be, I must be, and all that. Because it will be another dukkha for you, I always say it can be a double dukkha. There's a dukkha already. You are creating many other dukkhas for that. Just let the conditions arise. Right? If you have the samadhi, let the conditions arise. Don't try to rush it. The more you rush it, the more dukkhas will come to you. More frustration will come to you. It's a journey. It has to happen gradually, slowly. Right? Don't worry if you die in the meantime, because you die with samadhi. Your next question will be that. What if I die? Where am I going? You are going to a better place because you had samadhi. What if you die with micchaditthi? Without understanding those 10 samadhi aspects that we discussed in the Mahachattarisa Sutta or Samadhi Sutta in the Majjhima Nikaya, then you have a problem. That is a problem. At least you don't know what you should do. Now you know what you should do. That is in your mind, right? Let's say someone is going to go to a coma. At that point, what to do? There may be a chance to come back. There may be a chance not to come back. And we are very worried. Family members are very worried. At that point, no, we know. She and he knew what is samadhit. So that will help that person to, what do you call, successfully, spiritual wise. As a person wise, we might say this is a dukkha, but spiritual wise, this person will make it successful. Right? So Venerable Ananda's case, now in Venerable Udai's case, right? Those were fine examples to understand that just being around Dhamma activities might not, I would say, might not guarantee that you are into that internalization. Now let's take a look at our daily activities. Perhaps we will go to the text, the notes, and then we will discuss that. It will help us to understand the rest. Wisdom is not contagious. It can be contagious, but it's not all the time contagious. The wise have no monopoly on wisdom. No, the simple proximity, that means you are staying closer to wise people, to the wise, give wisdom upon anyone else. Venerable Udai was the Buddha's contemporaneous in the same monastery, was living with him, staying with him, yet he was never able to comprehend Dhamma even little. Why? Wisdom comes from inside, not from mere exposure. This verse cautions, don't confuse your presence with spiritual development. Real change requires intention, humility, and constant practice, not just proximity. Now, adding on to this idea, this note, I want to tell you that there were many people who were closely associated in the Buddha, but they will never be able to attain Nibbana. King Kosala is one of them, right? And there were many. So it doesn't mean that that kind of association is not necessary. That is necessary. But for some people, it might not work because of their temperamental character problems, right? But I always urge, Buddhism always urge, you have to look for wise people while keeping your metta for other people, right? So that means don't take it as a black and white understanding. I am with a very good wise person. I should be good just like him or her. It is not that kind of a thing to understand. That's why it is said close association does not always guarantee that you are similarly wise. There may be certain individuals, but it's good. Rather than unwise person is going to be with unwise other people. And then the second thing is pretending to know blocks the path to know. This is a very interesting thing. Pretending to know blocks the path to know. There are two things to understand. One is that, generally speaking, we don't know a lot of things in this life. What do you think? Compared to someone's knowledge, compared to the knowledge that we have been learning, we might know something better than other people. But overall, the undefined is infinite, right? And the defined part is very finite. That means what we know by definition is a very finite understanding. That means undefined, that which we don't understand, which we don't know, is a very large area. So one thing is that we don't know things, and funny enough, some people even don't know that they don't know. That is even a bigger problem, right? Now here, Venerable Udai's case is that he didn't know that he hadn't known to that particular thing. So let's say, if you don't know something about your life, your mental states, your behavior, your words, at least if you think that I don't know, I have to learn, that is the starting point of wisdom. That is how you become a wise person, as we discussed in one of the previous weeks. What was the stanza we learned? Yo balo manyati balyang pandito apitena so. Balu, I think last week, right? Balo cha panditamani sabi balu. Yo balo manyati balya. If an unwise person considers all of a sudden, I think I don't know, that very understanding makes him a wise person. This is what we understand here. If there's a bala who thinks that I think I don't know about this thing, that very understanding will make him or her a wise person. Because that's the point, that's the moment he or she is looking for the wisdom. I had to find it out, I had to look for it. Right? So understanding that I don't know is the starting point of wisdom. This is what, but if someone doesn't believe in that, that could be a problem. Just like when the Buddha, the fall was not simply that of ignorance, but rather of pretending that one knows. He sat in the Dhamma seat, pretending to be enlightened. In Buddhism, the mind of the beginner, empty and ready to learn, is better than one of showing off of knowledge. The path to awakening starts by accepting, I don't know. Right? Okay. Spiritual growth is built on transparency. Right? Now, we know in leadership management, they are saying, if you are a person in the audience, show the speaker that you're willing to learn, right? This is kind of a management skill. If you are in an audience, show the speaker that you are willing to learn. So the speaker understands that you want to learn it. That is kind of something visible. But inside of your mind, if you decide that I think I don't know about this fact, so I have to learn it, that creates the elements of your wisdom. Just like what we discussed last Thursday. But Venerable Uday didn't have it. Third one, physical proximity and spiritual progress. Just because you are in a temple, monastery, or a few feet away from the Buddha doesn't mean you have insight. You may stay in a temple, hear many Dhamma talks, yet become an unwise person. Is it possible? Is it possible? I mean, suppose there's someone who is listening to a lot of Dhamma sharings all the time, following all the Dhamma talks and everything, but yet that person can be an unwise person. Is it possible? What is the possibility of someone becoming as such? There is a possibility. What is the possibility? Not being able to properly listen and then memorize the relevant parts of that, and then not being able to understand and then internalize, and transformation is not happening without that. So if this process is not methodologically happening, even if you listen to 1,000, 2,000 Dhamma talks, that might not going to work. It's like you're trying to fill a pot of what you call very big clay pot by keeping the lid side downward. Water will not go inside, right? So that means you must know the methodology of how to learn Dhamma. It's not that you go sit down and just randomly or listening for a function. You may go there, but it has to follow these steps, right? And not even that. Dhamma is to be done, not to be just heard. It has to be thought, spoken, and acted. It cannot be admired. True spiritual growth results from inner discipline, ethical decisions, and mental clarity. Now think about when we are listening to Dhamma, we are listening, we are memorizing, and we are trying to understand. If we don't understand, we try to understand. We contact the relevant person, maybe other Dhamma speakers or whatever, and then internalization. I mean, what about these aspects are not properly happening? So we have to consult someone, perhaps a Dhamma speaker, perhaps a Buddhist monk, perhaps your teacher, whoever. So then you then you try to fine-tune your practice. Always keep in mind, parallel to that activity, your sila has to go. Your sila has to go, right? You cannot just forget about the sila and then practice meditation. So they all have to work together, sila, samadhi, right? So just because someone is closer to certain Buddhist items, activities, it does not guarantee that there will be a progress all the time. Don't be the spoon. I think we discussed about the spoon now. Spoon is the unwise person, right? Then who should we be? We want to be the taste. We want to be able to taste the dish, right? Because we don't want to practice the hungry ghost behavior. You know, hungry ghosts are trying to go to the dishes. Oh, what a good dish, but I cannot drink it. I cannot eat it. Because in my last life, I did a bad karma, right? Remember the story I think I shared with you many times. In this story, there was an arahant, and this arahant was staying in his kuti, and all of a sudden, there was a certain hungry ghost appeared in front of him. And then arahant asked, "Who are you?" He said, "I am your brother who passed away 3 weeks ago." Okay. And what do you want? And he said, with me, your mother, father, we all became hungry ghosts, right? Petas, right? I and your father, mother, we all think about Arahant's mother, father, brother all became hungry ghosts, and what could happen to us? Think about this is such an interesting story given in the Petavattu, in the Kuddaka Nikaya. Uh, and then what happened? Uh, the story is very interesting. The Peta asked him, brother Peta, we don't have clothes. The first thing that hungry ghost wants clothes, not the food. Then he said, I will do something tomorrow. Then he asked his devotees to offer some clothes to his other friend, the monks. And then after some time, again the brother Peta came. And then he said, thank you for the clothings, right? Why clothings are supposed to be given to the monks and nuns? The idea here is that you can give it to the other people too. There's no problem. But the virtues of the recipients are mattering, right? What kind of virtues are they practicing? And then the second time, this Peta, the brother Peta told him, now we need water. So then Arahant monk told, look, there is a river next to our place. You go and drink water from there. Then the brother Peta said, no, if I go there, if I try to take some water from my pitcher, this whole river will become bloodish, blood. So I cannot drink water by myself. Can you do something for us? For me, for your father, mother? Then tomorrow, he asked certain devotees to offer some water filters to other monks. Now the idea here is, think about, even the water can become as such, right? That means it's not easy. It's not easy for Petas to have food and drinks in a normal way. So that's why it's very important to become a person who can really taste Dhamma. How to become that person? By understanding how to process these Dhamma teachings, listening, memorizing, then understanding, internalization, and finally transformation can happen. Dhamma, this is also very interesting. Dhamma is not merely memorized. Now we said about memorization, it's realized. Venerable Udai was not a failure for lack of teachings. Actually, he had some knowledge. He was a failure for not having assimilated. You can chant Pali beautifully, have all the Dhamma teachings listed down, be ordained with titles. If there's craving, ego delusion, sakkaya ditthi, moha. That's all it is, noise. The aim of the Buddha was not to make a lecture, but an inner transformation. This is what I say after internalization. These are the subjects that he couldn't answer. The aggregates, elements, sense bases are not abstract ideas from a philosophy books. They are tools for looking, tools to help us look from a place that seems impermanence, changeability, and dukkha clearly. Now we have to learn. I think we don't have time to go through all these. You can read later. I want to ask you, what are the questions that he could not answer? Venerable Uday couldn't answer here. Panchakanda, 5 aggregates. I think you may have heard this Dhamma teaching in many places. But what to understand with regard to Panchakanda? Panchakanda is a teaching which Buddha asks us to understand our life. Right? Now, where are we now? Now, if we die, our Panchakanda go back to the recycling process, right? Patavi, what do you call Rupa elements go back to the Rupa elements. Rupa means form. We have a form, texture, and Vedana, feeling part, Sanya, perception part, Sankhara means karma part, Vijnana means consciousness part. Now, what is happening to these 5 when we die? They go back to their innate nature, right? And then, unless we attain Nibbana, we are trying to catch another Panchakanda body, right? That means how many Panchakandas have we been experiencing for many billions, maybe trillions, maybe more than years of time? That's why the Buddha one day told, he was showing a certain mountain, Pabbar, Vepul. They are very high mountains in India at that time. They're what you call Himalaya range mountains. It's like Rockies, so Alps. So he said, look at this Vebara mountain, Vepula mountain, Pabbara mountain. If someone want to pile up someone's skeletons that oneself use for the many eons, many kalpas, many lives, he's talking to his monks. You think, could that compete the height of the mountains here? It will go beyond the mountain heights. Even our skeletons, if we want to pile up all our skeletons that we use, our Panchakandas in the past life, that height will transcend all the Indian mountain ranges. To think about how many Panchakandas we had used in our life. So then how to understand Panchakanda? We have to understand there is no I, me, myself at a certain point. But until that point, we have a conventional self that is happening, which is changing all the time. So Venerable Uday must have gotten questions about these 5. And then what are the 12 sense bases? What are they? The Buddha said that why there are 3 elements here, three Dhamma teachings. Why Panchakanda and then again 12 sense bases? Why there are 18 elements? The reason being, when Buddha is giving a Dhamma talk about this sentient person's body, sentient person's body means any sentient being's body, he first starts giving the Dhamma talk about the Panchakanda. You are not you. What you have is Rupa, Vedana, Sanya, Sankhara, Vijnana. What if someone cannot understand these 5? At that point, Buddha had to go beyond. So he had to go beyond the 5 khandas explanation. So he has to go to the 12 sense-based concept to discuss about the sentient being's life. What are they? Chakku is an internal center. Chakkayatan. Chakku means eye. Is an internal center. Then ears, they are an internal center. Then nose is an internal center. Tongue is an internal center. Body is an internal center. Our consciousness is an internal center. Now we know a lot of centers, right? Even now Buddhist temples are also centers now. But these centers are much, much bigger centers. So I would say they are misinformation factories, very bad misinformation factories. We are feeding them all the time because we are not empowering them. Now there are 6 internal sense factories, centers. And what is happening when we have these 6? These 6 are always vulnerable to the external 6 sense centers. What are they? Sound, what do you call sight? Sights. That means rupa. Sight is an external center, which the internal center of eye is always depending on. Then sound is an external center. Smell is an external center. Taste is an external center. Touch is an external center. Thoughts are an external center. Now, how many centers are there? Sense centers? 12. So when someone cannot understand the 5 aggregate teaching at that point, the Buddha wanted to teach 12 sense bases. Sometimes he also told this to people who want to know more about Panchakanda, but he normally used these 12 sense bases teaching for those people who cannot understand, who still get back to their akusala life. At that point, he used it. What if someone is not even able to understand sentient beings' real true nature with this 12 sense centers? At that point, the Buddha used another teaching, which is little higher. We learn it from the Madhupindika Suttas. Majjhima Nikaya's, I can't remember the number, somebody can maybe find it. Majjhima Nikaya's Madhupindika Suttas, 18 elements. What are the 18 elements? 18 elements have 6 internal centers and then 6 external centers and then 6 consciousness types. Chakku Viññāna Dhātu. So Chakku Dhātu, Rupa Dhātu, Chakku Viññāna Dhātu. Eye is an element and the objects of the eye, sights is an element, and then the eye consciousness is an element. So in this way, you multiply by 6, you will get the number 18. So 18 elements. So the reason why the Buddha wanted to use Panchakanda first, if people understand that, that's okay. If people cannot understand, he went on to explaining 12 sense centers, internal, external centers, 12. If not, he wanted to go to the 18 elements. And in the Majjhima Nikaya, there's an interesting sutta called Dhatu Vibhanga Sutta, which explains all that, which is a higher level of elements. So anyways, Venerable Uday could not give a specific answer for the questions that were asked by some other monks, and he wanted to impersonate a very wise monk at that point. So what can we learn? What can you learn as a layperson? If you are not the expert, never try to impersonate. If you are not the right person, never try to impersonate anything, not even the Dhamma, anything. Give the credit to the right person, right? Not even that. Depending on the time, we can go to a couple of other things. Pretension means falsehood. Okay, associating with the wise without transformation is wasted time. Companionship, sevana, after a long time with the wise is useless so long as one doesn't believe. It says very plainly that an unwise person may wait on the wise one for a lifetime. But they won't know the Dhamma. Why? Because wisdom cannot, after all, be passively ingested. It has to be worked on with effort, virya, I could say vayama, humility, that means humbleness, and right reflection, which means what I call the 15 skillful habits given in the Metta Sutta and then the Noble Eightfold Path. The body of Venerable Uday was not transformed by the power in the vicinity of the Buddha, since his mind was closed. This should be a wake-up call for all of us. This is an interesting thing. his mind was closed. What does it mean? Is our mind closed sometime? We are not sometime opening up for the Kalyana with the right people. We opening up for the wrong people. We think it's very fun, you know, but that fun has already closed, turned us off. Our minds off. So then how to find out where to open and for what kind of a person should I open? That's why the Buddha said we have to be able to open up for the right person. And Buddha discussed that in many places. One place is, in the Metta Sutta. He said, Suvacho. Remember? Suvacho. Suvacho means being able to listen to the right person. Sometimes some people don't want to listen to those people. Why should I listen to you? I know what I want to do. This is kind of like a modern understanding. Yes, sometimes we don't know the true things. We have to listen to other people. Good person, right? So that's why one of the reasons why these unwise cannot get through these stages is that they have already closed their minds. They don't want to actually open up for the right person. And then depending on the time, I think I will give you time to ask questions. You may read all that. Okay, I think this part. Dhamma requires internalization, not imitation. He copied, but that copying didn't work. So it has to internalize. This is something interesting. I mean, we are not telling any person is bad or good. Rather, we would like to see everyone's wisdom, right? When a layperson becomes a monk or a nun, we think this person should be better and higher than us, of course, supposed to be. But it is not a guarantee. So that means we have to work on our own wisdom. So it has to be a continuing journey. Not that you're thinking that everybody who became monks or nuns, they are much better than us. Supposed to be, but it might not happen. Because this Venerable Buddha is a good story. He has been with the Buddha for long, right? So all in all, what we need to learn today is that we don't have to impersonate anybody to show us better than other people. We have to understand our own nature. I'm sure that you are already wise in your own ways. So try to keep up, continue that wisdom. But make sure that you monitor anytime you can become an unwise person, right? You can become that spoon anytime, Don't become that spoon. Become the, I think in the future stanza we are discussing, what should you become? It should be the tongue. When the dishes go to your tongue, you immediately spot the taste. This is right. This is this and that, X, Y, Z. Be that tongue, not the spoon. Because if you be the spoon, you may be surrounded with a lot of dishes, wise people, you will never get to any place. So that is the point. Okay, any questions for today about this stanza and the story? You can raise your virtual hand. Yes, Sumana, please go ahead.
Bhante, may I, Bhante Sukyodu, may I
Okay.
ask, how to know whether our practice, Dhamma practice, is Majjhima Patipada? With the path, because sometimes when stray from the path, how do we know, identify or observe ourselves?
It's very easy. Very, very easy to see that. How to see it? Very easily. If I follow the Noble Eightfold Path, that is not veering off from the Majjhima Patipada. Say, for instance, there are people who don't practice the Noble Eightfold Path. They have already veered off from the Noble Eight Majjhima Patipada. They must be either on the side of self-mortification, Attakilamatanu Yoga, which means giving a lot of pain to the body. Even their meditation is a self-destruction. They are giving a lot of pain to the body. Why to give the pain to the body? Are you going to be the Buddha? You are a normal person. You only take care of your thoughts. And if some others are not in the path, they might be onto the indulgence, self-indulgence. Kamasukalikanyo. The way how we can know by ourselves that whether we have been able to practice the Noble Eightfold Path, those 8 components gradually. If we know that, okay, let's say for instance, there is someone who is working more towards meditation or maybe chanting, which of course we all do, right? But the speech has not been fine enough yet. The speech in that person's activity, the words that this person is using not come to a certain higher level. I mean, not come to a certain wholesome level. What does it mean? That means that meditation practice has become a atta kilamatanyo. Make sense? Because right speech is a part of the Noble Eightfold Path. That means while we are practicing a certain meditation or chanting, we must be able to benefit from that activity to speak the good words, right? So you always have to check whether I am practicing these 8 in my practice. If not, you have deviated from the Majjhima Patipada. Don't know which area you have deviated. You know what will happen when someone is not driving properly on the highway, It might crash onto the ditch. It might crash onto the oncoming traffic. You know what I mean? This could be the spiritual clash, right? So it's like, suppose you are driving on a highway, you can't just veer off from the highway, right? So, yeah. Right? Any other question?
Bhante, can I comprehend it as always reflect during, before, and after on our thought, speech, and action, whether have living in accordance to the Noble Eightfold Path?
Yeah, that is a very good thing. We have to do it, but don't do it in a very pressurizing way. So you feel your own pressure now. Your pressure might be your own thinking at that point. I have to think about it. So you are not comfortable. Do it in a very comfortable, healthy way. I mean, say for instance, you are talking to your mother, father, right? In your case. So what I'm gonna talk to them? Something healthy, something good, right? Something not to disturb them, right? Make it a very normal thing. Otherwise, if you think you have to think all the time, like as a depressing activity, it might depress you. Because the plan one day is that you are coming to a natural thinking, that reflection is happening naturally, not that you are making it all the time. Now reflection is an activity. I had to do it. Pachavekkana.
Bhante,
Yes,
sorry, what is the word that Sister Sumana says? Majjhima what?
Okay, Majjhima Patipada is a Pali word that is used for Noble Eightfold Path. It's a Pali
Okay,
word.
thank you.
Majjhima Patipada means middle path. Because the Buddha says Noble Eightfold Path is in the middle. It's not on the sides. There are 2 bad sides, extreme. One is giving pain to the body and looking for the enlightenment. Other one is giving a lot of sensual indulgence to the body to find the enlightenment. So these are extremes. So they are
Thank
not
you.
Majjhima Patipada.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Bhante, may I ask? Bhante was talking about the 12 sense bases. So the internal center is the sight, and the external center.
No. Internal centers are your own physical senses.
Physical senses.
Now, in that example, your eyes. External ones are those things that impinge on your internal center. Say, for instance, sights come to my eyes.
Yeah.
Then that's an external one. Sounds come to my ears. So sounds are, Saddha means sounds are external center.
External center.
And impinging on my ears. So for those people who cannot understand the 5 aggregates, Buddha had to go to this level.
Okay. Thank you so much, Bhante.
Yes.
Thank you.
We can take another one question if you have, otherwise we are going to transfer the good karmas.
Bhante,
Yes.
can we say that this King Ajatasattu and King Ashoka, they are the opposite uh, of Devadatta and Chana, whereas Venerable Ananda is in the middle because associated with the Buddha but couldn't transform. But these two Ajatasattu associated with the Buddha and got transformation at last. Even though Ashoka didn't, but he know Buddhism. So we can take inspiration from Ashoka and Ajatasattu, even though they are so bad, but then the transformation happened.
Ashoka has a different story there. Ashoka didn't kill his father.
Okay, but he killed so many other people.
Ajasatta killed his father. Kalasoka killed his father. So I was trying to say the king who sponsored the first Dhammasangayana had killed his father, Bimbisara. And king who sponsored the second Sangayana after 100 years of the Buddha's passing away also had killed his father, Kalasoka. So it's Kalasoka, not Asoka.
All right, Kalasoka, yeah, okay.
Kalasoka. This happened in after 100 years of time. Yeah. So I mean, they are not very important things, but just to know the history of Buddhism, you know, things that are interesting in a way. Yeah. All right. So once again, I want to tell you today's summary of the stanza is impersonating someone is a bad thing, bad karma in Buddhism. And on the other hand, it does not guarantee that you are progressing in your Dhammapada just because you are always closer to a certain symbol in the Dhamma. Might be a temple, Dhamma talk. We all have to we all have to stay with those things. But there's a process for us to progress in the path. In addition to, what is the process? Listen properly, listen in all ears, and then properly memorize in there, the right one, not everything. And then understanding in the best way. If we cannot understand, try to clear it out by dispelling our doubts, vicikiccha, from the right people, and then internalization. And finally, we will see the transformation. Otherwise, we are just following something cultural ritual every day and hearing here and then going back from the other ear. So this is what we discussed today. I think this is a very good thing. Otherwise, we can become a bala, right? We shouldn't be a bala, especially if we are closely associating the wise individuals in our life. Okay, so now we are going to transfer the good karmas at this point. May all the good karmas we be making today by learning about how to understand and practice, internalize our Dhamma things through this Dhammapada stanza story. Be transferred to all the departed ones who passed away in the name of all of us. May they be well and happy, and may they attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Idam me ñātīnaṃ hotu sukhitā hontu ñātayo. Idam me ñātīnaṃ hotu sukhitā hontu ñātayo. Idam me ñātīnaṃ hotu sukhitā hontu ñātayo. May Deva, Naga, Mahedika receive all these good karmas. May they bless and all of us, protect all of us for good health, quality of life, prosperity, safety, happiness. At the same time, may Devanaga Mahindika be well and happy and attain supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Ittavata cha amhehi sambataṃ punya sampadam sabbe deva anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Ittavata cha amhehi sambataṃ punya sampadam sabbe bhuta anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Ittavata cha amhehi sambataṃ punya sampadam sabbe satta anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Akasattha ca bhummattha devanaga mahindika punyantang anumoditva chirang rakkhantu sasanam. Akasattha ca bhummattha devanaga mahindika Punyantang anumoditva chirang rakhantu desanam akasattha cha bhummattha devanaga mahindika punyantang anumoditva chirang rakhantu mang parang chirang rakhantu tvam sadati. Next, we are moving on to our Dhammavish, which is exactly the area that we have been discussing about what wisdom and lack of wisdom. So our Dhammavish all the time is to continue being surrounded with Kalyana Mittas in our life. At the same time, maybe become Kalyana Mittas to as many individuals as we can till we attain Nibbana. So with this beautiful, noble intention, we're going to make the wish. Imina punya kammena mami bala samagamu satang samagamu hotu yavanimbana patya. Finally, may all the good karmas we be making today by learning about this particular stanza about how to become wise be supported and helpful for all of us to attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Abhivadan siddhis niccang vardha prachayino chattaru dhamma vardhanti ayuvannu sukhang balam ayurarogya sampatti sagga sampatti mevacha ato nibbana sampatti iminati samiccatu. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. With those blessings, wishing you a pleasant good evening. I'll be seeing you next Thursday at the same time.
Thank you, Bhante.
Have a good
Thank
night.
you,
Thank you,
Bhante.
Bhante.
Good night,
Bhante. Have a good
everyone.
day.
Have a
Thank
good
you,
night.
Bhante.
Thank you, Bhante.
Thank you, Bhante.
Sadhu,
Sadhu,
sadhu.
sadhu,
Okay,
sadhu.
thank
Thank
you.
you, everyone. See you all next week.
Thank
Night.
you, Bhante. Sadhu, sadhu,
Good night,
sadhu.
everybody.
Good night.
Bye.
Thank you, Bhante.
Thank you. Good
Thank you.
night. And
Good
take
night.
care, everybody.